Hi, this is Military Model Paul with an update on my Churchill Mark IV, and which is a Flory build, which is also to do with the their D-Day to the bulge build. And so this is what I've done now. So I've actually got this part now glued permanently in place. I found out that I'd be able to get some weight down through the actual where the turret fits easy enough, and I found out also that these two clear parts won't be seen from inside outside anyway, with the hatches closed like I've got them. And these clear bits go onto these solid parts, so these H is clear and E is a solid part, green, for the periscope. And then you've got H1s, which are actually the clear parts, and they actually can be masked off and fitted to inside there, and then spray inside silver a little bit to give it a silver effect, or spray that first. I think I'll put it in situ and spray inside silver, and then spray the green over the top for the tank colour, and then I'll be able to peel off the actual masking for the front of the lenses, and it will give it that silver look inside, but also obviously it'll be solid green on the outer part of the part, so you'll see that later on. I'll get a nice clear shot of that. So that's been done now, so that's it in situ. I'm going to zoom through now. This gun now is in place inside the tank now. That's actually inside. You'll see that on the next video. I decided that because I'm gluing this down, I needed to do that, and it fits in there lovely, so that was okay. That bit basically I said leave unglued, but I've glued it in place, as you know now, because that's okay. This is all we've done. The tools I haven't done, but I may actually use the photo edge parts for this, which is here, which I'm going to show again a bit later on in the video. But basically I might do them up PE, put those in place, and then spray it green, and then go in and paint it afterwards, which would be straightforward because it's easy to get to. It's on a flat surface at the back of the tank, which is good. I've also put these bits together now, that's why they're marked off, and they're actually sitting on the vehicle with their armoured shrouds, these parts here, A13s, A13 and 15 and A16, just sitting, they're not glued in place, so I can actually do the rusted effect on these bits in there. So that's sitting on the tank, you'll see in the video, so that's okay. Went together really nicely, a little bit of sanding, and it works wonders. I did have to bore out these holes a little bit to get them to sit in, so I made them slightly bigger, so there's wiggle room for me to actually get them in place and line them up so they fit snugly into the place. So that was worth doing. I found the holes on the side here where the actual air that's removing heat from the actual intakes, all the heat rise comes up from the air intakes. These were actually, holes were too small, I had to bore them out as well, so it's worth remembering. They're on the next page anyway. So also, as you can see, I've added this part permanently, that part permanently, that part permanently, and also these down there. So B16, 17, 18 and 19 all permanently in place. And what I used in there, I've held them each, this one at the front, and then run I'm going to mention it again anyway, just from this glue here, the Tamiya Extra Quick Setting one, the light green one, really worthwhile that was it. And I just touched them, let it run down the side, and it held it there, just held it for a few seconds, and it was permanently done. That was great. And I've done these, and then the good thing is these are the plate parts I've left off, and they will go on after the tracks are fitted. That's A12, A17. They're the parts that make the two curved fender parts of the rear of the tank, which I'm going to put them on there, but after tracks. Now the tracks do, and I'll mention it in the video, we'll mention it in the video, is the tracks do run smoothly underneath these even though they're in place. I'm not fitting the front ones because most of the fixtures I've seen at the Churchill, the front fenders weren't always in place on these ARVs, so I've leaving mine off. Now these are the air cleaners, where the air comes out, heat from the engine. Basically these air intakes, I've got the PE set piece on there, but these are the pieces, once you put them together, they're fitted to put together, but they're straightforward. But what you've got to remember is that you have to bore these holes out to make sure it fits in, and then it does. And I've glued them permanently in place because I've got the photo edge placing thing. What I should have done is paint it black inside, but what I will be doing is going around and do a bit of pre-shading, and then we'll paint black in via that to make sure that it's dark in there. I should have done that before I actually put them together. Something for the next Churchills to remember. And then basically these parts I haven't done either because that has to do with the rear fenders. So there you go, and I'm over here. I've actually done this part here, so that's okay. And what I haven't done is these parts, E39. There's 4 of them. I'm going to be putting those on today, and they'll be done. And then it's building these fenders up. Now if I build the fenders up, I can actually put these bits in place so they're already built up. So when I put them on at the end of the once the tracks are in place and it's been painted a bit, that'll be done. And then now it looks like basically from here on, part 25 is building the turret up, as you can see. So there you go. So it should be interesting build for that part on its own. So I have nearly got finished with the actual hull itself, apart from that part there and some extra details and shovels. So really that's it. So right, I'll see you in a minute then. Thank you. Well, I'm back. Here's the basically what I've done. As you can see, all the fenders are actually glued in place. All these. I used Tamara extra thing, quick setting. I find that's really good. What I did is I actually held them in place, run it down the seam, and basically it was pretty instant. It was quick drying, and I found that was the best glue. The other one was a bit slower drying. This one was really great, so that worked out. As you can see, I've got some the actual photo etch grills on, which are on both sides. Really like those. They're from a set that was designed for it, and there it is, and I think I've mentioned it anyway, but there's the set. Basically, I checked on the other kits I've got of the different marks, and it is, as the whole is virtually the same apart from modifications. These screens fit all of them, so basically I've got enough sets to do most of the ones I want to do, so that's good. And so that was okay. All these work perfectly. The exhausts on the top are basically just sitting in place, like I said, because I want to be able to put the rust effect on them before I do that. I may even use photo etch on them, but when I looked at them, you can't really see much of a problem with it. So I might not do the photo etch on that. We'll wait and see. Also, the shovels are still going to be put on at some point later on. Going around to the front, I've got the periscopes in place, and I think if I come around to about there, the periscopes here are in place. And they actually move, so if I turn that one, you'll see what I mean. There she go, it actually moves. And what it is, I decided to put them on because when I found out that I could actually do that and then leave the clear object, because it's a clear inside and then these bits fit on the top, and as you can see, they fit lovely. And there is other parts, as I explained in the actual video, of how you can put them on there, so I'll be dealing with that later on. Coming around again, the machine gun is in place now. That's already in there. Still moves. Quite a nice little bit there. Coming around again, a little bit of sanding there done. Again, I had a little bit of super glue dropping on when I was playing about, so silly me. But anyway, but it is smooth, and when I put a bit of clear coat over that, a bit of a primer on that, you won't even notice that. Just like there and there, you won't notice that either. That is the Mr. Surfacer, and I rubbed it smooth. That is actually smooth, but of course it just stands out because of the colour. See the grills on around here, it's lovely. So I'm really pleased that still moves, which is good. Whoops, I'll put that back again a bit further. There we go, because that's where I'm going to have it. And really pleased. The turret is just sitting on there, like I said, and that is the next part of the build after I've finished the last little bits on this, on the upper hull. And what I can see, there's not many more bits to actually go on it anyway, apart from the shovels and that. Now, do I put the shovels in place? I may do, and then paint the handles and the bits and pieces while it's in situ. I think that'll still work. Come around the back. There you go. And I have tested the tracks, and just putting them on the back roll and running them through, there's enough clearance all the way through to go through easily and drops out the other end, and that's the reason I actually test fitted it and done it. So this is really quite nice. I'm really pleased with it. There is a gap there, but there's also a similar gap, so if I can swing it around, on the other side. You can see it there. But there you go. But I've noticed on tanks, when you see photographs, there's a smaller gap there, and sometimes there isn't. But it's really, I'm quite pleased with it so far. So if I bring it around and leave it in the position, there she is. So that's it. Basically, that's how far she is now. So I'll catch you on the next video, and thank you very much. Happy modelling.